Hello everyone, welcome to the Rob and Bay channel. I am the Rob part of the Rob and Bay channel, and this video today is kind of a follow-up to the previous video where my wife and I talked about our finances living here in Santa Rosa, California. And so today I'm going to talk a bit about how I think about my money, how I think about spending money, and how I kind of do what I can to stretch my money to make it go a bit further. So I'll start with where I put my money that doesn't get spent. And so I think an important part of managing your finances is to make sure that as much of it is always working for you as is possible. So the goal that I shoot for is to never have more than $3,000 that's sitting in an account that's not making me money. And so anytime that my account, which I use for paying bills, like any bills that come up, either planned or emergency bills, comes from one account, which I normally keep at about $3,000. And that account doesn't really get any interest. Everything beyond that is either sitting in a high yield savings account. So I'm getting right now at least like 4.3% interest for money that's just sitting there that I can pull from if I need to use it. That's my emergency fund. And beyond that, everything is invested. If you have thousands of dollars sitting around in an account that's not getting any interest, then it's kind of like you're losing money because the value of the dollar is always going down. And so right now, if your money is making you less than 4%, then I would consider moving it into some account, either a money market fund, a high yield savings account. You know, you can look into whatever you want to do. A fair amount of my like emergency fund is sitting in a Vanguard money market fund. So yeah, just make sure that your money is always doing something. Don't just let it sit around doing nothing. So that's like your foundation. Beyond that, one thing which I've gotten into and which I feel like has done a lot for me is looking into bank accounts, like opening bank accounts that give you a certain amount of money just for like doing a direct deposit into it, where they give you $250 just for doing a $500 direct deposit. So that's pretty good. And then you have credit cards. Like this is not an ad, absolutely not an ad. There are, and as a matter of fact, I don't really want to mention them, but there are many credit card, like banks that have credit cards that have offers where you spend a certain amount, could be like $500. That's pretty much what I would shoot for. Some of them are like $2,000. But once you get into the $2,000 range, then it's kind of like you're spending more than you would normally spend just to get that reward. And at that point, you may not actually be saving any money. But if there are any credit cards in the $500 range where like you spend $500 and then you get like $200 back, that's a really good deal, because at that level, $500, you're probably spending easily that much on food, even if you're single, over the course of like 2 months. So look into credit cards like that. Just do a Google search for cashback credit card offers or something like that, and you'll find a bunch of stuff. I've done it a number of times, and it's fantastic. Also, on the subject of credit cards, cashback cards, not like the spend a certain amount, get money back, but like 2% cash back on all of your purchases, stuff like that. I used to be a person who would always just use a debit card because I was afraid of credit cards. I grew up being told, like, don't mess around with credit cards, like you'll get into massive debt. And on a certain level, that's good advice. But I guess using a debit card for a long time, it actually was good training, because it taught me to always use that card as if you're spending real money. So I never like overspent. So when I use a credit card, I always treat it as if I'm spending cash on something, and I typically pay that card off immediately, like before the statement date even comes up. I just keep it all paid off so that I have a very accurate picture in my mind of what my finances look like, because if you're running up debts on various cards, but you're kind of focusing on your main bank account where all the money is coming from, you might see, oh, $3,000, yeah, I'm good, I can spend some more, but you aren't really keeping in mind the fact, oh, I have $200 in this card, $300 in this card, $400 in this card, and so you spend, and then the auto pay hits for all those cards, and then your bank account crashes. So be mindful of your spending, but still use credit cards to maximize your rewards, like a 2% cash back for all of your various purchases. I always get my gas at Costco, so I get 5% back for that. You have the Bilt credit card. I can't get around saying it. It's the only card that does it. But yeah, the Bilt credit card gives you points for paying your rent, and that's pretty huge. And they have good travel rewards, and so you can use that for flights. You can use that for hotels. And so it's good if you can keep your credit cards paid off and not spend more than you should be spending. Be very cognizant of your spending. Like if you're someone who's prone to overspending, set a firm budget for yourself. If you're someone who needs a budget, set that budget firmly and bear that in mind when you're using credit cards. Don't allow yourself to overspend, but use those credit cards to maximize your rewards. And for myself, an important point that I always keep in mind is that these rewards that I'm getting from opening these bank accounts and these cashback offers from the credit cards, this is not money where I can say, oh, I'm getting $200 back from this card, so I can go out and buy this and buy that because I have this money coming from the card. That money should absolutely be treated as extra money for your savings, and do not increase your discretionary spending. Don't increase your wants spending in light of some more money from these bank account offers and credit card offers. It should be saved in an account that's making you money, either a high yield savings account or just go ahead and invest it. So I've mentioned in various ways, not overspending, not like running up too much debt. And this all comes down to being able to manage your desires. And this is the most important part of being a financially stable adult living in the world. Being able to manage your desires, being able to have a desire for a car come up, for clothes come up, for some hobby or whatever to come up, and be able to do a cost to benefit analysis in your mind and think, well, if I spend this, I'll be out that much money, and am I really going to gain any real happiness from this, and how long will that happiness last me, and would I rather have that 5 minutes of happiness when I buy this thing, or would I rather have that money sitting in an account accruing compounding interest year after year? And so I think this aspect of financial life kind of gets glossed over because it's like anathema to capitalism. It's anathema to our consumerist society. Having desires come up and being able to contemplate those desires and see through them and let them go, because every desire that comes up, it's not like a good thing that has to be followed. You should always be doing a cost to benefit analysis on that desire. And so I'm not someone who tries to scrape and scrounge and save every penny. If I want to get something, if I want to get into a hobby, I can get into it. Now, my hobbies are kind of chosen in light of this cost of benefit analysis that I'm constantly doing. And I think two of the best hobbies or like forms of entertainment that you can get into that are very cost effective are books and video games. Now, I've recently got into Warhammer 40,000. Love the video games and the books. I've definitely gotten into the books. The lore is fantastic, and you get hours and hours and hours of entertainment out of all of these books. And it's a similar deal with video games. Hours and hours of entertainment for a relatively small investment. On the note of like contemplating your desires and always doing a cost-benefit analysis, though, one of the aspects of Warhammer 40,000, if you know anything about this sort of thing, is of course the little plastic miniature army guys. I've definitely had the desire come up, like wanting to collect an army and paint it, and this costs several $100s. But I'm just keep doing this cost to benefit analysis in my mind, and I think, well, would I rather have these little small plastic figurines, or would I rather have several $100s sitting in my bank account? And right now, I'm just going with the several $100s. But because I am being frugal and smart with my money, saving money where I can, perhaps in the future, I can buy those little tiny plastic figurines, and it won't feel like I'm losing a huge chunk of money because I've already saved so much money in so many other ways. So this isn't about depriving yourself and always having this like tight feeling of tension, like, oh, I want to buy something, oh, but I can't because I have to be frugal, I have to be responsible. That's not it. You can indulge in some wants and desires every now and then, but always be doing a cost to benefit analysis. Never be at a point where you're actually having to pay interest on a credit card balance. Never be at a point where you are spending more than you've allotted for a year once budget. On the topic of investing, I'm absolutely not a financial advisor, and I don't want to get into like the specifics of it too much. I'm definitely not an expert on it myself, but if you're just looking for some place to park your money so that it's making you money in the long term, then just doing something safe like investing in an S&P 500 fund. And so long term, you can expect to get something like 8% probably return on your investment, which is good, solid, definitely better than just having it sit in a high yield account. The high yield account is more for like your emergency fund. So, you know, have a certain amount set in your emergency fund, and then beyond that, go ahead and invest it into like the S&P 500. Maybe put some into like a cash deposit to have like a locked-in guaranteed 4% or so return over a period of years. You don't really have to get into investing in certain companies unless that's something you're interested in. Baseline, like minimal effort option, just put it into an S&P 500 fund. You're done. Easy. And of course, if your workplace offers you a 401k, take it. Always take it. Especially if they have a match, that's free money. Like your workplace is giving you free money. So my job offers me a 3% match. It's a 100% match up to 3% of my gross income, and then it's a 50% match for the next 2% of my gross income. So they're giving me free money to have that. If your job, if your workplace offers you a 401k, you're throwing money away if you're not taking them up on it. So please do that for yourself. it's also worth being willing to do some shopping around and look for the cheapest option that will suit your needs. So that doesn't always mean that you go for like the cheapest thing, but it's garbage and you don't really like it, or it just breaks. What it does mean is that, say you need to get some new clothes. I feel like there is this sort of strand of thinking these days where like if you buy like really expensive high quality clothes, then they'll last longer. But like a cotton shirt is a cotton shirt, and a $30 cotton shirt probably isn't going to last any longer than like a $10 cotton shirt is. And so I think it's kind of worth doing a bit of shopping around to look for the cheaper option. And then that extends into like food as well. Like the food at Whole Foods can be nice, but it's not really necessarily going to make you live all that much longer. Buying super organic, pesticide-free fruit and whatnot, and when you can get the same items for like a third of the price at Walmart or at Costco, then it's worth keeping those options in mind, especially if it's going to allow you to come in at or below your budget. So my wife and I, we do like to shop at Walmart. We shop at Walmart a lot for our food and for various household items because it's cheap. We aren't like so wealthy that we can buy like a $15 box of fruit just because we like how it looks. And for the same reason, we also like to shop at Costco as well, because you can find large quantities of very nice stuff at a price that's sometimes even less than Walmart. So consider where you do your shopping. Definitely shop around for the cheapest option. It's worth it. Please do some price comparisons here and there. So these are just some of the things that I do to make my money go further. Some of the places I put my money, and just some of my like thoughts and feelings of how one ought to be living their life, to make things as easy as possible on oneself. Being frugal, responsible, and not quick to give into your desires makes life so much easier. And I hope I've said something useful here for those who are listening. I hope if you are not already doing some of the things that I've suggested, that I've made enough of a case for you to consider doing those things. And I hope that it will be as impactful for you in your life as it has been for me in mine. So I'll see you next time. Bye.